How's everybody doing this time around? I know I just shot one a couple days ago, but you know what? I wanted to do another one because it may be almost a week before I shoot another one. So let's see. You know, I kind of went thrift sale shopping over the weekend and didn't find too much, although I will confess I almost did pass this up for a quarter. Couldn't really shake a stick at it. Now, here's the thing, though, on this. Okay, this is a Casablanca 12-inch promo EP. We're going to call it an EP because it's got 4 songs on it. It is music from the motion picture Foxes. I don't know if any of you guys remember that movie. It came out around 79 or 80. Wasn't really exactly that good, but they ended up, of course, naturally only using Casablanca artist people on it. This particular 4 songs here on the radio by Giorgio. Okay, that one is the Donna Summer tune. All right, done in his way. Fly Too High, which is the theme from the motion picture Foxes, from Janice Ian. By that time, of course, well, you know, she didn't have a hit for about, what was it, about 5-6 years? So, what was it? Society's Child? 17 was one of those, was the last hit for her. I didn't get it for that, though, okay? The other side has got Hollywood Dreams, which is an instrumental from Giorgio. Who cares about that? 20th Century Foxes from Angel. That's why I got this. Like I said, for a quarter, can't pass this up. Mint condition, of course. Angel was one of those bands that, well, you know, they should have made it. They were billed back in the 70s. You had Kiss, which was your, trying to pretend to be demonic type group. Okay, at least that was the image that they were conveying. Well, Angel was was supposed to be the opposite. They were all dressed in white, but they played really hard. I mean, there's some really good tunes. The Tower is one of them I can think of right off the bat. But A Hell of a Band was one album. They only put out a handful of albums. The main person that broke out of that particular band, of course, was Greg Giuffria. He originally started in that band, formed Giuffria, of course, and House of Lords in the 80s. But, so like I said, that's really the only one that I found on that. And a CD, too. Jelly Roll Morton. This is old school stuff. I like old school stuff. I like old blues and things like that when I can find it. I don't have too many original old 78s of blues, but you know, this sucker here on Rounder, her CD, it was put out in the early 90s. It's called Kansas City Stomp, the Library of Congress Recordings, recorded by Alan Lomax. Now, Alan Lomax, he was one of those guys, if you've never heard of him, go Google, let's get more information on this. But he was one of your main blues recorder historians. He would go out there in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and all of these people, I mean, he was involved with Robert Johnson, obviously Jelly Roll Morton, he had a bunch of these people, and he recorded them all. And thank God he did, because, you know, without some of these recordings, maybe rock and roll wouldn't have happened, or it would be a way different landscape. Because I don't care what you say, the blues is your basis. Okay, that's your cornerstone of rock. Okay, rhythm and blues and blues, and you know, wouldn't have brought out rockabilly even, because you had your country mix, soul. You know, if we didn't have half of these tunes like we do from these guys, rock would have been completely different, I think. Okay, so what's this episode pretty much going to be about? I haven't done one of these in a while. It's called, a few weeks, well, maybe about 6 weeks back, I went to a thrift shop in town, and they had 2 of these record cases, choco fullo of 45s. So we're just going to kind of dig through. It's like, what did Paul find in these? And by the way, I tried to figure this out. These look original. You know, most of the records in here are 70s in nature. So, I mean, the condition on this case and the other case from like a future episode down the road, really nice stuff. You ever find these things, even if they don't have records in them, get them, because you know damn well you're going to use them. I wish I could find some album cases. That would be really, really nice, but I don't get to see those. I think I've only had one that I've found in 30 years, and I'm not going to pay the ridiculous prices that I've seen some of the newer ones. I wish it was sponsored by Waffle House. Maybe someday, right? But it's fueled by coffee. So let's try to get started here a little bit, because this thing is, well, 3/4 full in this particular box, okay? First right off the bat, Old Blue Label Mercury Spanky and our gang. Sunday will never be the same. These guys were out of Chicago, of course. Spanky McFarland, still alive to my knowledge, but pretty much I think everyone else in this band is dead. They pretty much, there were a couple hit wonders. That was the first one I remember hearing on classic, oldies radio. But she would, of course, Spanky and our gang would break up by about 75. She'd fall out of the loop for a few years until, lo and behold, around 1982-83, she was invited into the new Mamas and the Papas. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this really much. The Papas, of course, were all original. You had John Phillips and Denny Doherty, but the Mamas were completely different. You had Spanky McFarland and Mackenzie Phillips. Now, I personally don't think Mackenzie can sing, but you get the drift. So that's where she ended up for like a couple years. Okay. Ooh. Early 60s co-ed label. Okay, and it says here, I know you can't probably read it, Model Girl, Johnny Maestro, the voice of the Crests, all right? He and his band, the Crests, were the ones that came up with 16 Candles. Well, in the late 50s, I want to say 59, 60, they pretty much said, hey, psst, Johnny Maestro, go off and have a solo career. But his solo career didn't really last too long. I want to say by 63, he was pretty much gone. Went underground, under the radar pretty much until about 68, 69, when he created a new band that ended up on Buddha called the Brooklyn Bridge. Big multiple ensemble in that one. Really good stuff, though. I think they only made 2 albums. Okay, guess what? Grand Funk Railroad. Yeah, that's right. This is from the last Capitol album they did in 1976 called Born to Die. One of these days I'll show you the album cover on this. Literally, that was pretty much the death of them, though, on Capitol Records anyway, okay? But it's kind of actually semi-hard to find the 45s from that particular last album and their album that they did later in the year on MCA Records. Oh, okay. I thought this wasn't going to be right away, but it is right away. Surprise. Grand Funk with Can You Do It? Okay, they tried to throw this out as the single. It really didn't work really well, but they pretty much were broke up by this time, but they got a new contract with, like I said, MCA. They were supposed to have a 3-album contract, but I don't even know why they bothered signing it, because I don't think they would have made it past the 2nd album. Good Singing, Good Playing was the album off of what this one is. That whole entire album, okay, produced by Frank Zappa. Yes, that's right. Frank Zappa actually produced a Grand Funk album. And based on what I read in Mark Farner's book, I'll tell you, From Grand Funk to Grace, that's the name of his book. Try to find it. It's about only that thick, but it's a really good read. He went off and basically mentioned that Frank Zappa was a hoot to work with. He was really, really helpful, and they said that they haven't had that much fun in the studio, period. I mean, that was all there was to it. But unfortunately, not much promotion, and that's the reason why that single and the album kind of died. Go look for it on CD, though, because it's got bonus tracks, on it finally. And Frank is actually on it as well. He's on parts of the albums, okay, doing little background guitar and vocals and stuff like that. I know you can't see this really well, but on Original Green label, Warner Brothers, Jamestown Massacre. Jamestown Massacre with Summer Sun. This, if you've never heard of Jamestown Massacre, go look it on YouTube and Google them, okay? They are pretty cool. If I remember correctly, some of the band members were from Northern Illinois. Some of them were from Southern Wisconsin. That one there would have been from 1972. Really, really good stuff on that. Ooh. Twisted Sister with The Leader of the Pack. And of course, look what you got there. The B-side, I Wanna Rock. Yeah, that's right. Featuring the introduction from the I Wanna Rock video. Remember I was bringing this up the other day. Is that a Twisted Sister on your... No, that's not it anyway. Never mind. But still, come out and play. Pretty much really good album. If you've got that album, you know, it's kind of collectible. It shows the manhole cover, but it pops out. Kind of 3D-ish appearance. Kind of neat. They only made a couple on Atlantic. Okay, Doug, he's a friend of mine here in town. I was wondering where this 45 was, and I was going to bring it up and show it to him if I ever found it. Well, guess what? I didn't realize it was in this box. This is actually from a slightly different find. This one here is a promo. Well, it's a 45 for Miller High Life. Now, based on the artist on here, I'm assuming this is mid to late 60s. The condition on this is one side is pretty much near mint, the other side's VG. But this one here, it says that this record is not to be sold or played on the air. It's not to be sold or played on the air. So why did they make these things? I'm not entirely sure. But it's an EP. You got 6 songs on here, okay? The first side here is Johnny Mac, Brooke Benton, and the Trogs with an invitation, okay? B-side is another Brooke Benton and 2 more Trog songs, Special Place and Summertime. Kind of cool, I think. Like I said, kind of a mystery piece for me, though. Not entirely sure. I'm going to say 1967-68 is going to be my guess, but I could be wrong on this. Round and Round, Jerry Jeff Walker on promo White Label Atco. By the way, the condition on most of these 45s, most of them range in the near mint to mint with the occasional VG piece, but nothing like elephant stomped on. Ooh, here's a mystery piece. Here's a couple of them, actually. How about on Panther Records, 143 Street Driver by the 18th edition. Who's the 18th edition? I don't know. But needless to say, it still looks pretty neat anyway. No hints as to who wrote what exactly, but looks like it's 60s. How about this one? Here's another one. On Soft Records. You're Kind of Loved by the Livin' End, baby. It's the Livin' End. I really have no clue on this one either. Produced by Major Bill Smith, not Colonel or General. Okay. Promo copy. Oh yeah, Crate Junkies. You know, you're reminding me of some of this stuff, because remember how you had found some of those promo copies in your last episode of bands you never heard of? Well, this appears I got some too in these little boxes. That's what made me think of you. On Providence Records, Child of Clay from the 1929 Depression. Yeah. Yep, I have no clue at all on this one. Although it looks like Ernie Maresca was involved in this, and I don't know why that name sounds familiar, but needless to say, it does. Oh, here's some with picture sleeves. Van Halen, or should we say Van Hagar, Why Can't This Be Love? Kaboom! That's probably the fallout from the David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar War. Yeah, okay. I heard they still hate each other. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was all in the Heat of the moment. Yeah, I know, that was a pretty bad segue. I remember buying this back in 1981. You know, I love this group. I do. Of course, Jeffrey Downs, Steve Howe, Carl Palmer, and John Wetton. Jeffrey Downs, of course, from the Buggles and Yes. Steve Howe from Yes. Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And John Wetton, the bass player from almost any damn band in the late 60s and 70s. You think I'm kidding. He seems to have been in everything, from King Crimson, let's see, King Crimson, Family, Roxy Music, Uriah Heep, UK, Rare Bird. I know I'm leaving out a few. He tried having solo stuff. Some good things there, too. Let's see here. Oh, dear Lord. Yes. I didn't know that. I didn't know Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods made more than Billy Don't Be a Hero. That was a bad song. Yes, James, Billy Don't Be a Hero. But this one says, who do you think you are? I'm an idiot on YouTube that loves music. That's who do you think I am? Lobo, I'd love you to love me. Mason Williams, Classical Gas. Nice piece of instrumental. A reissue of Nicolette Larson's Lot of Love. I like her stuff. Peter Gabriel, Shock the Monkey. Ooh, I love Shock the Monkey. How about a nice copy of The Who's Won't Get Fooled Again on good old Decca Color Bar? I gotta tell you something. Back in these days anyway, okay, they ended up putting a lot of B-sides that never ended up on albums for years and years and years. This one here is a really good song. Go look up on YouTube. I don't even know myself. It was a Lifehouse outtake. That one and Heaven and Hell and a bunch of goodies. All should have been on there, because I don't know if you remember this, but I think Pete said that Lifehouse was going to be a double album originally, and then he chucked that concept, and well, most of the good stuff landed on Who's Next, but the B-sides, I'm telling you, you can't be disappointed with Who stuff back then. This one, I know it's a reissue, but guess what? I needed it anyway. On the Flashback label, it's a little bit Me and a Little Bit You with Valerie. I didn't have that one. Also, Time Passages and Year of the Cat from Al Stewart. Really Love to See You Tonight by England Dan and John Ford Coley. Here's one that was a little odd. This one's from 1993, and it's a 45 from Dwight Yoakam. Okay? 90s 45s are not that easy to find. They're really not. I'm not a big Dwight Yoakam fan, but this one's called Ain't That Lonely Yet. And it's got the barcode, too. But I figure, what the heck, right? Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes, 45. Nice. Hey, if it's on ABC Dunhill, believe it. And you should, because this one here is Sooner or Later from the Grassroots. I love the Grassroots. Guess Who's No Time on RCA Victor. Red Label. This one's wrong one. Wildwood Weed, Jim Stafford. If you're ever in Branson, go see his show. It's good stuff. Elton John's Island Girl. I like this song. You know how Ronnie Dark, you and your crew got guilty pleasures? This is like one of my guilty pleasures. I like it. Now, I know this isn't the original label on this, but I've never seen an MGM reissue of You're My Soul and Inspiration, and You've Lost That Love and Feeling. This I'm going to probably keep. Rod Stewart, Tonight I'm Yours with Young Turks. Oh, I like to get to know you from Spanky and our gang again. Here's one that I didn't even know about. This just cracked me up to no end. It's from the Raspberries, and it's Let's Pretend on Capitol Records, okay? Your label for this particular one in 1974 is your orange one, all right? Very nice shape on this. But here's what threw me for a loop. Now, I know you can't see this really well, so I'm going to read this to you briefly. This is the other side of it. You get their heads, and then you see the car, right? That not two decent-looking women on here. It says, it's easy. Here's all you do. You fill out the official entry blank or a reasonable facsimile. Tell which one of the Raspberries, Eric, Wally, Dave, or Jim, you think is the foxiest and why. No purchase required. The winners will be chosen in an impartial random drawing. All entries must be received by May 31st, 1973. Okay, so here's the thing. You could win the car. You can win a customized Volkswagen for your very own. A customized Volkswagen. That's your entry blank. I've never seen this, and I like Raspberries, but now I maybe know why I haven't seen this, because I bet a lot of you teeny boppers back in the early 70s cut this picture sleeve to bits to enter for that Rolls-Wagon. Thought that was interesting. Eagles one of these nights. Alice Cooper's No More Mr. Nice Guy. Ooh, I love it. Here's one I didn't know existed. Remember Men from Earth album I showed from Ozark Mountain Daredevils last episode? I didn't know that they made a picture sleeve for the single You Know Like I Know. Good stuff. Real good stuff. Typical A&M, 1976 roughly. Woodstock by Matthew Southern Comfort. Neil Diamond's Brother Love Salvation Show. It's okay. I'm not a big Neil fan. Carry On My Wayward Son. This one's got a J.C. Penney stamp. That cracks me up. I didn't know J.C. Penney was into records back then. Hey, Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing yet. We're almost done here, guys. Longins and Messina, Traveling Blues. Grand Funks were an American band. I have never seen this one before. Look, they're all staring pensively out at you. This one, though, is not gold vinyl. This one is black. I think I showed a long time ago the original gold vinyl one I found. Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run, original pressing. I didn't have this on a 45. I normally don't do collectibles labels, but Keith's 98.6. Jimmy Buffett's Come Monday. Touch Me in the Morning from Diana Ross. I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. Original London Company sleeve. And lastly, Fleetwood Mac with Rihanna on reprise. All good stuff. Now, most of this, like I said, about 80% of this I found literally in this box. $3 for that, for the records and the case. Lickety split. I snapped that up. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know about you, I don't find too many 45s anymore. 45s have been, at least around here, a rare beast. And, you know, I gotta confess, there's a lot out there. There is way a lot out there in 45s that never obviously made it to albums. That's why 45s to me are a lot more fun. And I don't mind, you know, like I said, I can't wait to listen to some of these groups that I never ever heard of before, that never maybe made it more than the 140, like this 1929 Depression and the other ones. Okay, here's some quick shout outs really quick, okay? Because we're at the end of the episode for this week anyway. Once again, my friends in New York, Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark, they're going to have a good one coming up on Sunday. Do not miss this particular episode. Sunday night, 6 to 9 Central Standard, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard. Yours truly has a mild, very small involvement in this particular episode. I'm a monkey geek. This is what this is going to be about, at least for an hour of the show. He has been kind enough to go off and post a Monkeys tribute show. I can't remember what hour it's going to be, but I'm telling you, listen to the whole show anyway, because you're not going to be disappointed. Last week's New Colony 6 was fantastic. I love it. So this one here, in the month of Davy Jones's death, I still can't believe that it's going to be a year at the end of the month. It still gets me sad on the heart. So like I said, like him on Facebook and listen to the show. Read when you're at Facebook on how you can listen, okay, on Sunday nights, 6 to 9 Central, 7 to 10 Eastern. Special Monkey Tribute this Sunday. Crate Junkies with a Z. Subscribe to them on YouTube and the Facebook page. I don't know where you find this stuff, Crate. I really, really don't, but I drool every time with envy. A new one here, Bob and Ron's Record Club out of Chicago. These guys are former Chicago disc jockeys. I remember listening to these guys. I do. The names are escaping me, but it's the voices. I knew them right away. And no, it's not the voices on my head, in case you're wondering. Those are different. Shindig Magazine out of England. Go get it if you got a Barnes & Noble. Or I think Hastings has it too now. Go there and get it. Stones is still on the cover for about another week or two. I think then they're going to finally put a different cover out. Subscribe to him on Facebook. Also, my friend Tim Smith's Thrifty Music Collectors and Listeners on Facebook. Very nice group. It's a group he started last year, and you know what? Let's send some more love towards him too, because that's how I found a handful of these new ones. Believe it or not, it's actually through Tim Smith's group. And lastly, hey, guess what? I was trolling through YouTube last night for vinyl collecting sites. I found another guy that I actually kind of like, and I know some of you people out there in the vinyl community know who this is, but you know, here's the thing. Give me recommendations, okay? Because obviously I don't get to see everything. I kind of like trip on it like some of you guys do. If you guys find some really good collecting sites, pass them on to me, because I will spread the word, because I have a big mouth, you know. But this one here for this week anyway, Weavy Ray, okay, Weavieray on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. He's out of Pennsylvania. So, I mean, the stuff he finds, my God, I'm envious. Especially the hair metal. He's into the hair metal too, like I am. Those Iron Maiden Riot albums, I'm drooling over. Good stuff. So, like I said, everybody, share the love, share the peace of music. It's beautiful, guys. You guys are beautiful too. And you know what? I'm glad you're out there. Please like and subscribe. This page is growing. I love it. I'm up to 54 subscribers this week and almost 3,100 views. And that is an improvement over 2 weeks ago. Let's just keep spreading the love, guys. This is what it's all about anyway. Until next episode, sometime next week, I think. Unless I decide to make another one again this week. Maybe I will. Who knows? You guys take care. God bless. And rock on. I miss you, Davey.